Hi, I'm Carole Robinson. Welcome to this edition of County Happenings, where we find out what's happening in the county by chatting with the #1 man, Rogers Anderson, the
I
county
don't know
mayor.
that I'm #1, but some days I'd like to be about
57 or something.
way down the line. But how are you doing?
I'm doing great. What a great day today. I'm a little miserable outside, but great groundbreaking for Columbia State Community College.
People, I don't really think they understand sometimes just how. I mean, we've always had for 40 years, we've had a presence of Columbia State here in Williamson County.
But it's been kind of tucked away. A lot of people don't even know it exists.
But their enrollment's always very strong. When I was at the event, I was talking to CHS, Marty Schwantenhart, and Don Webb, CEO of Williamson Medical Center, and just how many people go through Columbia State that they're able to capture. Now, it could be nurses or people in IT. Oftentimes, that 2-year community school is the springboard to go someplace else. But for many, many people, it's
an opportunity to go back.
That's right. And we sometimes fail to remember that many people graduate, get a job, and find out, I need some more continuing education.
Or you've got a job, and in order to move forward, you need to get something else other than what you already have.
Well, the location at Liberty Pike and Carruthers, you can't miss it. Beautiful setting.
Right near the Williamson Medical Center, and of course, the medical field is pretty strong at Columbia State.
Probably in a year and a half. And they'll move.
They're going to be moving dirt fast and putting up brick a lot.
Well, they
really
started
quick.
the big bulldozers while we were there, trying to get it in, and it was kind of sprinkling a little bit. So I think they wanted to get some things done. But what a gorgeous setting that will be, and what a wonderful time. And it's a great. We heard lots of speeches, but we also heard that what this means to the next generation, our children and grandchildren, and
what it means to our community,
and what it means to our community to have a very nice facility right in almost the heartbeat of our community.
Right where everything's bouncing around, easy access for anybody coming and going, and in between classes, the kids have someplace to go.
So if you're out there watching this show in about a year and a half,
you're going to see a ribbon cutting.
And they'll transfer all those facilities over at Claude Yates location behind next to Franklin High School there on Hillsborough Road. It's just going to be a very good period. And 40 years from now, I'm sure you remember, I had a few comments, and made the comments over 40 years ago now when I came back from the military. I literally started at a community college up in East Tennessee called Roane State, and we were working out of a little bitty elementary school that wasn't being used anymore. And I felt like, here I'd been to Vietnam and came back, and
this is where I'm back in school.
This is what I'm thinking. This is not very good. But that gave me the opportunity, because it was in Harriman, Tennessee, and I lived on the west side of Knoxville, so I could get there and go to work, and because I was having to work my way through school, and I would go to that school, and then the tail end of the first year, I was dual enrolled, once at UT and once at Columbia State, trying to work. But I never will forget that experience, because it was the beginning, the genesis of our community schools. I didn't think much about it at the time, but as time's gone on, now when you come across Cookeville and Crossville, and you come down off the Harriman Mountain going to Knoxville, you look over and see this sprawling campus, and it's just got feelers all over that east. It goes from Wartburg, Knoxville, Maryville, and that's what Columbia State has done. It's actually up here, and it's down in Pulaski, and it's down in many other areas. So
headquartered in Columbia,
yes,
but still, it's going to have a big headquarters here.
I think it'll be a huge presence. So congratulations to Columbia State.
Yeah. And it's been and it's not something people think, this was just something that happened over the last couple of years. It's been a lot of years in the making.
Yeah, I remember 15 years ago talking about having a center for higher education.
Something more than behind a drugstore
Yes.
or an old vocational school.
Right. And that's not to say we're disappointed in David Lipscomb or Belmont or Murfreesboro. They each have a presence, and many other. King College is here
Right.
now. I understand just this past week another school from East Tennessee was looking to locate down here. And so we're going to continue to have it, but you have to have something that's grounded that you can say to your children or grandchildren that maybe haven't seasoned out at this point in your life, and let's get a little underneath, because it is very expensive to go away to school. And so here's an opportunity for families to help them their pocketbooks
Even if you
out.
take a few courses at a
Sure.
time, it's right here. You can still do like you did and work. And
Well, and the other thing, as you're well aware of, Centennial High School, which is a part of the Williamson County Public School System, has a dual course, so that you can go to Centennial High School and you can also pick up some credits. The other thing nobody touched on today, but is so paramount, there was a time when you went to community colleges, oftentimes those classes you took did not transfer up to
Right.
another school. And for the most part, they fixed that. Now, I guess if you took a class in taking apart an ink pen and they didn't offer that at some other school, then there would not be any credit for that. But your basics, your English, your math, and sciences, all of those are aligned now so that you can get credit when you
And
go
this
there.
is really important now with the new thing that the governor and the legislature has
Drive
passed,
55.
with the Drive 55, where if you go to a community college, your 2 years at the community college are free.
Yeah, I think it's important to asterisk that so that we don't mislead anyone on that, because I think there is some misunderstanding. First of all, there's no tax dollars coming out of the lottery
Right.
funds, and that's critical to understand. But the new program that's come out for those young people, they have to exhaust all the other avenues before they can tap into those funds. In other words, the Pell Grants, the scholarship money, and it's a last dollar fix.
Okay.
So that if your son or my son,
So it's not automatically a free
that's
education.
right,
You've
it's
got to
not-
do some work towards it, which is really
and the other component of that, which is really modeled after Jim Ayers, what he has done out in West Tennessee and Knoxville when Bill Haslam was governor, and Mike Ragsdale when Bill Haslam was mayor, city mayor, and then Mike Ragsdale was county mayor in Knoxville. They got a company, PetSmart owner, which originated out of the Knoxville area, and you have to have a mentor process. And so here we are in July of 2014. Those people wishing to go to take advantage of that opportunity will start in September of 2015. But they have to be on the books and have a mentoring process in November of this year. So we have contracted, we being the county, we've contracted with a company that will take on these individuals, these new students. They help them to fill out applications. They help them to go to the guidance councils and say, okay, you've got to apply for this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And remember, we're last dollar. And so for many of these young people, this is the first time that they've ever had the opportunity to go on to continuing education. So they're not as familiar.
Right.
They're not used to having to how to apply, what the deadlines are, what Pell Grants are, what all these other opportunities are for you. And sometimes they just fall through the crack. Now, if they want to go and they think they'll be a recipient, they'd like to use this, then they will be assigned a mentor. You and I, they're looking for mentors as we speak today to help these people. And it involves you probably calling them 2 and 3 times during each month. Have you
Reminding
done this? Have you done that? You'll have a check sheet. So this person, when he or she graduates in spring of next year, in 15, that he just wakes up and says, well, I don't have anything done. This mentor has processed and said, okay, have you got this application done? Because most people's college experience has changed a great deal from when you and I went. Today, you almost have to pick that somewhere in the first part of the year because they start making assignments, who's going to get in?
Right, and scholarships.
And scholarships. So that's why they're starting in November. So if you're graduating in May of next year, you ought to pretty well know where you're going in January this coming year. You've got to hone it in. Now, you and I know that. We've had children that have gone through that. Our neighbors are going through that. But if you've never gone through that process, you never had anyone in your family that has had that opportunity to go to the next level, you wouldn't know when to start, you wouldn't know how to even begin, and your guidance counselors can help you, but they're not going to hold your hands.
Right, right. And
Now, they do a good job. I don't mean to displace.
yeah, but when they've got 700-800 kids working
right.
with, they can't hold everybody's hand.
So this is a wonderful opportunity. I applaud the governor for doing it. He did not use tax dollars. He got it out of the lottery funds. Now, those people that were receiving lottery funds are going to get $1,000 less per year. That's the other side of that. Whereas they were getting 4, 5, and 6, they'll now only get 3, 4, and 5 because they drew down on those funds to help the others. And the whole bottom line, everything about it, is for workforce. The governor is pushing hard in this state that 55% of the population in the workforce would have the opportunity to have some type of continuing education. And why is that? Because the companies that are moving in this state, if it's manufacturing or it's Nissan, they've got a certain amount of skill set people that they need, whether you're working in that factory or you're working in their corporate headquarters.
And this isn't only for community colleges either. It's for if somebody wants to go to diesel school or something like that.
That's correct. Technical school. I've said this over and over here recently. Within the last 6 months, I had to have some work done at the house. I'm a tinkler. I'll fix most things. But this particular thing, I had a leak, and I just didn't have time to do it. Well, after the particular person came to fix it, I realized how much I needed to fix it because I understand the cost structure. I understand what materials cost, gas costs, education costs. But we need men and women
that can fix things.
That can fix things.
And it comes down to, used to be you could tinker with your car. It's so computerized, you can't do anything.
They can hardly find where to open the hood.
Right, and even change the oil is not easy anymore. So you have to have some kind of experience, go to some kind of automotive
recently,
school.
My mom, I was hushed and we'll get on to something else, but recently my mom, in her dwindling days at the house we were talking about, and I had some curtains hanging on the dining room, and I don't know, she called it something. It's a little loop, and it's made out of thread, and then you hang it on the, whatever that's called, the rod that goes across the top. Well, that little loop, and it broke loose. And she looked at me and she says, "If you'll take that down, I'll fix that for you." I said, "Well, Mom, no big deal. I'll fix it." She said, "No, because if you have to pay someone to do that, it's more than you can ever imagine."
Yeah.
And said, "I can sit here and it gives me something to do." And I just thought, that's that generation that fixed everything, made everything. I can still remember my sister, and I'm sure this didn't happen in your family. She did not want homemade clothes. She was tired of homemade clothes. But Mom sewed in between cooking and being a mother and putting the things in the garden. And she'd measure that dress at my sister's knees, and and there was always an
above the knees.
I wanted above the knees.
Oh yes.
But today, more and more people want those homemade things, and so many people can't sew. I tell you that story is that we have a program that's been it's about a 2-year-old program now at our Parks and Recreation. The sewing class is full every time.
Wow, that's great.
So
that's
we're
great.
seeing a
resurgence
in energy,
going
back, and people wanting to do that, and particularly if you've got, in my case, cute little granddaughters, I want them to be dressed up.
Yeah.
I love it when I see them. I want them to be a little tomboy in them to get out and get dirty, But when they go out,
You want them in the pretty little dress and bows in their
they're
hair.
mighty pretty, and smocking and all those
Yeah.
things. It's just an art gone past.
Oh, I know, and I was fortunate to have a mother that did all that.
Yeah, my mother did too.
Yeah.
She made Dad's clothes, and of course
suits,
he had work clothes. He was a shift worker. We came from the other side of the tracks, and I mean, I had pants that she just kept letting him out, and you see that little colored different at the bottom of your pants, and
You knew you grew.
You knew you grew, and you kept getting them lowered down, and you didn't say much about it.
Yeah.
You're just glad you had on some good pants.
Yeah, I know. I remember my dad needing a new suit for some occasion that he was going, wedding or something like that, and my mama made it.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah.
A lot of things
But-
happening in the county. We can reminisce
yeah.
like
Speaking of going back in time, we've got the fair coming up.
Let's talk about that. August the 1st through the 9th.
A lot of
Time
great
this-
things going on.
Lots of things. In fact, the first night, we're having ribbon cutting at 5 o'clock. Come on down. And the fair gates literally open at 6 on August the 1st. That first night is packed with livestock, cattle judging. It's becoming, that first weekend of the fair has become the largest cattle, one of the largest cattle shows in the Middle Tennessee and in the state. And during the course of the evening, one of Williamson County's favorite sons by the name of Will Hogue.
Yeah, I was to say, don't forget Will Hogue.
Yeah, he's the opening act that night. I think it starts at 7, maybe 8.
But get there early.
Yeah, he's very popular draw. He's local. He's got that deep voice that one of the major automobile companies used him in an ad talking about his
The Travis
Chevrolet.
Tritt voice.
Yes. And you know, we owe a lot. His daddy's a photographer. His mama, they still both live here. Will was involved in a very serious motorcycle accident about 3 years ago. And they didn't know if he'd ever be able to sing and play again, but he's bounced back, rehab.
Wow.
He doesn't live in Williamson County, he lives in Nashville, and we're thankful that he came. And then the next day on Saturday, it opens up at 10 a.m. after we've closed down the night before, and it just goes
Just
on
keeps
all
going.
day long.
And Jimmy Drew's got a new ride
got
this
a brand
year,
new ride this year.
and it'll thrill the kids.
I'm sure it won't thrill me,
No.
but it's...
Don't even ask me to go to the top of that one.
He's, he's been such an inspiration for us. Jimmy is a truly a businessman, and his Midway.
He's a nice businessman.
Yes, it's been in his family for 100 years.
Wow.
And he's very professional. He keeps good, clean, safe rides. They're inspected on a daily basis, not just what the state says at the beginning. He does alcohol or drug testing for his employees. So we feel like we're getting a quality, good, clean, safe Midway. But the Midway is only one component. You know, the real
Yeah.
fun is the cotton candy and all the other activities. And this year's theme is built around the construction world.
On I-65.
On I-65. It's a good time. It's 10th year fair, Good Times Construction. And so lots of heavy equipment would be in the air-conditioned arena so that you can take your children and grandchildren to get a picture of them. Let them crawl on the equipment. That's
Yeah.
why we're bringing it in.
And kids love that
Yeah,
touch-a-truck.
Touch-a-truck is very, very popular all over. And then,
Then you've got the Lego.
you got the Lego events on Sunday, which all tickets are sold. Every single ticket for Sunday at the senior event, which is bingo
Senior
and
day,
lunch, senior day. Now you can come into the fair, but we have no more tickets left.
can't get lunch.
You can't get lunch unless someone throws you a crumb or something. But there's still plenty to do. You still play
Yeah.
bingo.
Yeah.
And then it's the pageants that day. Then on Monday, it starts all over. We're doing a pay forward, which simply means bring a couple of cans per person and get in, and all the food that is donated, bring a couple
And
of
last
cans.
year you raised, 3.5 tons? You collected, rather?
I think it was 3.5. I will say yes. Pretty close to that. That we gave all to Grace Works, and that was your ticket to get in.
And they
to the
need
fair.
it again this year.
They need it every day. And then each week we've got gospel nights, pageant nights. On Thursday night, for the people that are my age that like good country music, we're bringing back the old country.
Grand Ole Opry.
Old Grand Ole Opry. And so Jim Ed Brown will be there, Whispering Bill Anderson. He'll be there. And a couple of others that people really like, the old country music. And then Friday night, I forget what event it is. I think it's Motown, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And then the last night of the fair will be the Elvis tribute. And there's two of those men now, and they'll pack them in.
Yeah.
They'll pack them in. So 1 through 9,
Yeah.
August 1 through 9.
Yeah.
Find another way to get to the fair rather than coming down
There's
I-65.
plenty of back ways to get. And,
Go down
and
Arno
a lot of
Road,
pretty
turn on
country to see.
Goosey Hill, turn on Long Lane, come in the back way, go down Lewisburg Pike, cross over, avoid the interstate.
Yes.
If you possibly can. There'll be a lot of people coming in from other areas that won't know that. But if you're local, you're watching this show, go one of the back roads, take a scenic route, go out Arno Road.
Yeah. Or my way, just come out Columbia Avenue.
Come out Columbia Avenue.
And cross Coleman Road and
Come in the back door.
come in the back door.
You'll have, and we've expanded our parking out there. We're in a field across from Long Lane, so if we get overflows like we normally do, we've got another area. We're very, very indebted to our volunteers. I think this year's number is a little over 1,300 volunteers. And of course our sponsors, in order to hold the ticket prices the way they are, the sponsors step up and patronize those sponsors where you possibly can. Thank our volunteers. We'll all be dressed up in different T-shirts, but you'll know us.
Yeah.
And to our law enforcement community, public safety, making it a public safety statement about it's a clean, safe fair to come there. And of
Fireworks
course, again,
every night.
Fireworks every night, and also stress the fact we have no tolerance for alcohol on the fairgrounds. Many vendors would like to sell it, but we continue to say no.
Yeah.
It's a family, fun-filled event, and we want to leave it that
Concentrate
way.
on the kids.
Have a good time with your children, your family, your friends, and kick your heels up a little bit.
Yeah.
Kick
Have
your
some
heels
fun.
up
Yeah,
a
the
little.
Bluegrass Festival's the end of the
Tommy
fair.
Jackson
Yeah.
continues to do the bluegrass for us, so we're looking forward to it. We'll look real forward to it on the last night.
Yeah. I look forward to next year's on the last night. And now we've got the budget. The budget's all set for the county.
Voted on,
passed.
unanimously approved the budget. There were some different issues within the budget. Some commissioners didn't like this, some didn't like that. But at the end of the day, this year's budget is $440 million. 65% of that money goes to public education. And the county gets the other 35%. Out of our 35, we have to pay the debt for the schools. That's just the law. So we're operating county general now on 27 cents of every dollar. We got an award, not really an award, we got recognition in a major magazine called Smart Asset. And Smart Asset said there's identified top counties where you get your best bang for the buck. And Williamson County got number 10 in the nation. We're the only county in the state of Tennessee that said you get the best bang for your buck right here in Williamson County. County schools, and even, I know this is hard for people to believe, but roads. We do have good roads.
Yeah.
We just don't have enough of them. And the other things we offer people, low tax base. So we were rated 10th best in the United States, and we're real proud of that.
Yeah, that's
With all these changes, we're building 2 new schools in Nolensville. We're looking for some land for another school in Spring Hill. We're funding public safety, as you have reported
Right. The
on
new
several
building.
times. We bought a location here on Downs Boulevard in Franklin to move, it used to be called the old LoJack building. We'll move the 5 Points location of the rescue squad and the ambulances out to the LoJack once that's finished. We're leasing that building, and then we bought another 7 or 8 acres out off of Goose Hill at McLemore and Paytonsville Road. We've got an intersection there. They're getting sewer out there for us now, and we'll build a new fire station and ambulance center for our southern Williamson County folks, which goes over into the Thompson Station. Lots happening.
Lots of happening.
New senior citizen center to be constructed over the next year and a half. New community theater, all on the OBGA campus, and one gorgeous park that will open up in 1st of October, late September, off from the Natchez Trace, called Timberline.
Yeah.
Timberland. Looking so forward to that. 77 acres
I'm looking
of walking
forward to
trails.
that because that's kind of parks I like.
That's right up my alley, and it's natural. We've put, some benches to sit on. Some of the trails will need to be in very good condition. They'll have an advanced, a median, and a beginners, but it's ADA accessible, and it's got an observation point. It'll have about a 1,500 square foot building. That's not very big.
No.
And has no electricity, so we're having to do everything out there on solar and with septic tanks, and it is quite an amazing feat. We're very proud of that, and we were given the land in 1998, and it's taken us
able to finally
15 years later. We're able to finally put a few dollars, a few pennies here each year, and so we, working with a state grant that we got, we were able to finally put it to bed.
Yeah, I can't wait to get out there and take some pictures of the wildflowers that come in the spring.
I was out there, honestly, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, just trying to see where we are on it, where we're on schedule. Doug Hood, who is retiring at the end of November, assured me it'd be open the 1st of October, and I believe they'll make it. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I can only imagine in the fall when the leaves are turning, it will just
with all those hills and
makes you feel like you're in the Smoky Mountains.
yeah.
I'm so excited about. I guess of all the projects in the latter, in Nolensville, we've got about another 60 or 90 days to finish up that rec center for our friends over in the Nolensville community. Another recreational facility. So now we have them in Fairview. We'll have them in Nolensville, Brentwood, Franklin, Spring Hill. So all of the points that we're going, it's taken us. Well, the first one was Franklin 15 years ago, but not anymore. We're in every city except Thompson Station, and they can share
Spring Hill
or come
Franklin.
back up here until we can find the time and the energy and the money to do that.
And the population down there.
It's going to grow.
Yeah, it is.
It is going to grow.
Yeah.
So many things are going on, and it's exciting. It's exciting to be living in Williamson County.
Yeah, and the summer flies by so fast when all these things are going on.
Well, and you have reported for many years how we keep this momentum going.
Yeah.
In the next 10 years. You and I may not always be in the role we're in today, but how we are able to handle the development, the growth. I think most of us are pro-business and that we want jobs for our children and grandchildren.
It's all in the planning. It's all in the planning. You've got to have forward-looking people.
You got to have zoning in place, and no, you can't put it there, but you can put it over here.
Yeah.
And but that does create congestion, and we as citizens, we've got to figure out a different and a better way to get around, and we're just not there yet, but we are working on it.
I see more and more bike paths being put in, so that's going to be helpful.
Well, looking at my waistline, it wouldn't hurt me to walk a little bit more, and I think it's about time to sign off with that.
Yes, we won't talk about that anymore. Thank you for joining us on County Happenings, and see you next time.
Come on out to this year's Williamson County Fair, August 1st through the 9th, to celebrate our 10th anniversary. There will be plenty of activities, including pageants, 4-H events, performances by Sean Clush and Cody Ray Slaughter, the return of Grand Ole Country Night, and much more. Tickets for adults are $6, tickets for children ages 6 through 12 are $3, and anyone under the age of 6 gets in for free. Make sure you come out to this year's Williamson County Fair. This is an experience you don't want to miss.